Let's talk how men overestimate women and masculine vulnerability. What most men and many women think vulnerability looks like.
Hey,
I'm back, my love.
where'd you run off to, huh?
I went to make a garland of beach plums to place atop your glorious head like a crown. But then I caught sight of that sunset, and I don't know, something stirred inside me, and I had to stop and weep.
It's beautiful.
It is. Here I go again.
Tissue?
No, I never wipe my tears away. I'm not ashamed of them. I wear them proudly, like small, wet, salty badges of emotional truth.
I don't think that I've ever met a man who's been more in touch with his feelings.
I love you so very much.
I love you too.
Compared to you, that sunset's just... When is that darn thing gonna set?
Maybe we should go.
You know, I had a feeling that you were gonna...
Okay, guys, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to respect the moment that my woman friend and I are sharing, because it's a special celebration of love and caring and a unique spiritual and emotional understanding.
You wanna get a beer?
Sure.
Allison, excuse me, but I thought that this was our time together.
It's just a beer. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Actually, my place is like 40 minutes from here.
That's fine. Which way's your car?
It's a van.
Great.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, wait! Don't go, don't go! Well, I can't handle this kind of rejection. Why don't you want to stay here with me?
You want to know why, Elliot? Because you're just too sensitive. I'm about to go out of my mind here. It's been wonderful, and God knows I love you, but enough is enough. I just want to be with a man who'll ignore me and take me for granted, and who's only pretending to be interested in who I am and what I think so he can get into my pants.
That would be me.
Oh, thank you. Let's get out of here.
Allison! Wait! Allison! I'll get into your pants!
You do not need to cry all the time or wear your heart on your sleeve in order to show vulnerability to your girlfriend or your wife. As a matter of fact, wearing your heart on your sleeve, crying, and externalizing your strong emotional reactions too often is a sign that you struggle to self-soothe, and this can lead to your partner carrying most of the emotional labor load in your relationship, and this is not healthy. All adults, both men and women, should have a healthy balance between knowing when to self-soothe and take care of your own feelings and knowing when we need some emotional support from another person. All that vulnerability means is to verbally share your goals, regrets, fears, and dreams with your partner. In other words, share your internal world with your partner. Here are some questions that can show vulnerability. What do you feel are your 3 greatest strengths? What is one of the biggest challenges that you overcame in your life? How were you able to overcome that challenge? What are some things that you are passionate about and enjoy doing? What are some unusual skills that you have? What are some things that you are most proud of in your life? What are some ways or examples that you have made a difference in someone else's life? What do you enjoy doing? If you could do just one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be? What is something about the world that you dislike and would love to change? And for what purpose? What problem or issue would you like to see solved in the world? When you look to your past, what is something you have overcome or have helped someone else to overcome? What excites you and gives you energy even just by thinking about it? What about the world makes your blood boil with frustration? What feels vulnerable to one person may not feel vulnerable to another person. Some people are just naturally more open than others. If you want to know whether or not you're being vulnerable with your partner, check to see if your heart is racing. If it is, you're most likely being vulnerable, because whatever it is you're sharing with your partner is making you feel exposed. Let's talk about 3 musts of a happy relationship. Both partners should give these 3 things to each other. Emotional care, which means being each other's greatest source of happiness. Protection, which means avoiding being each other's source of unhappiness. Partnership, which means making decisions that are coordinated and benefit both of you instead of only one of you. Most relationships go south when we begin to feel like our emotional needs are not being met. And yes, men have emotional needs too. One of the problems with relationships is that we tend to give what we want to get in return. But is what you're giving what your partner wants? Have you asked her? Men tend to try to meet needs that they value, and women do the same. But the most important emotional needs of men and women are usually very different. The 2 types of love that the happiest relationships have. Caring love, which is a decision to protect, provide, and be there for someone to make their life more fulfilling. Romantic love. This is not a decision. It's a feeling. It's an emotional reaction to someone who meets our emotional needs. It's a feeling of incredible attraction to someone. Most men are good at the caring love part, but most men were never taught how to keep the romantic love going in a relationship. While people can decide to provide caring love for each other, they cannot decide to have romantic love for each other. Who is responsible for you feeling romantic love? Your partner, not you. If you are in love with your partner gets all of the credit. This is usually a sign that she is meeting your top emotional needs in a manner that satisfies the need. Who is responsible for your partner's feeling of romantic love for you? You, not your partner. If your partner no longer feels romantic love for you, better known as desire for you, it's a sign that you are not meeting her top emotional needs in a satisfying way. To keep desire flowing through your relationship, put most of your effort into meeting your partner's top 2 emotional needs, and your partner should do the same for you. This is the best and most proven way to keep romantic love going. In other words, how much you desire your partner and how much your partner desires you. Here is the list of the top 10 emotional needs that people have. This list of needs and some of the quotes in this video come from the book His Needs, Her Needs. The author is a renowned psychologist and expert in couples counseling. As per his research over the last few decades, the 10 emotional needs people have in relationships are affection, sexual fulfillment, intimate conversation, recreational companionship, honesty and openness, physical attractiveness, financial support, domestic support, family commitment, and admiration and appreciation. Statistically speaking, the top 5 emotional needs women have in relationships are: Number 1, affection. This means that her husband tells her that he cares for her with words, flowers, gifts, etc. He hugs and kisses her many times each day, creating an environment of affection that clearly and repeatedly expresses his care for her. Number 2, intimate conversation. This means that her man sets aside time every day to talk to her. They may talk about events in their lives, their feelings, their plans, their kids, etc. But whatever the topic is, she enjoys the conversation because it is never demanding, judgmental, or angry, but always informative and constructive. She talks to him as much as she would like, and he responds with interest. The way he talks to her conveys his love for her. So the ranking of the top 5 emotional needs most women have in relationships are: Number 1, affection. Number 2, intimate conversation. Number 3, honesty and openness. Number 4, financial support. And number 5, family commitment. If you would like more detailed descriptions about number 3, number 4, and number 5, you can grab a copy of the book, His Needs, Her Needs. Statistically speaking, the top 5 emotional needs men have in relationships are: Number 1, sexual fulfillment. This means that his wife meets this need by becoming a terrific sexual partner. She studies her own sexual responses to recognize and understand what brings out the best in her. Then she shares this information with him. And together they learn to have a sexual relationship that they both find repeatedly satisfying and enjoyable. Number 2, recreational companionship. This means that his wife develops an interest in the recreational activities he likes most and tries to become proficient at them. If she cannot enjoy them, she encourages him to consider other activities that they can do together. She becomes his favorite recreational companion, and he associates her with his most enjoyable moments of relaxation. The top 5 emotional needs for men are: number 1, sexual fulfillment; number 2, recreational companionship; number 3, physical attractiveness; number 4, domestic support, which is like housework; number 5, admiration and appreciation. Always remember, though, that everyone is different, so the way they rank their most important emotional needs might be different. The ranking shown here is just what the research shows the majority of men and women want, not all men and all women. For example, my number 1 emotional need is honesty and openness, and my number 2 is intimate conversation. My husband's number 1 is family commitment, and his number 2 is sexual fulfillment. So always treat yourself and your partner as unique individuals, and don't assume that what the majority of men and the majority of women want is also what your partner wants. Let's talk about one of the most contentious topics: financial support.
What would you want his income to be?
I feel like this is gonna sound bad. I feel like 300,000.
I would have to say 127. Probably 150 to $250,000 a year.
$500,000. Is that bad?
150 maybe to 250,000 a year would be comfortable for sure.
I was just having this conversation with my friend, and she was like, you have to manifest a husband, girl. Ideally, my husband needs to be making like 650,000.
So you said you want 500K, but what do you think the median income is for a 30-year-old?
60K? 70K?
It is $45,000.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah,
I think it's 250,000.
it's 52,000.
What? No, it's not. Damn, America.
The illusory truth effect, a lie told so many times we assume it's true. It is not that most women are gold diggers or only want a man for his money, or that women are too delusional. It's that social media has completely warped most people's perspective of reality. Many men overestimate how much relationship skills women have. Both men and women grew up in a society that did a horrible job at preparing them to have happy, healthy, and lasting relationships. Do not ask random single women what they want most from their husbands when they get married. Not because they're going to lie to you, but because they've never been married. All that they can do is give you their best guess as to what might make them happy long term. So even though many single women will say they need a man with an income over 100K, they underestimate how much emotional support and vulnerability is needed in order to keep a relationship happy and satisfying long term. For example, what do expert couples therapists say they hear most often from married women in their offices? He doesn't talk to me, and he doesn't share his feelings with me. So what does the book His Needs, Her Needs say most women want in relationships when it comes to finances? This is an excerpt from the book. Do women marry men for their financial support? Over the last 50 years, I've witnessed a revolution in the workforce. When I started my career as a psychologist, men dominated the field. My class of 25 PhD candidates included only 2 women. Today, women dominate psychology, but the revolution has affected not only my profession. Overall, women now outnumber men in most careers. They are in the working majority. So you might think that the cultural shift toward women in the workplace would change a woman's need for financial support. That's not necessarily the case. In truth, most women do marry a man expecting his partnership in financial support. They want their husbands to partner with them in supporting their family together and managing their finances together. Most men do not have that same need. The book further explains that when a woman has financial support as one of her top emotional needs, what she's really asking for is to have the choice of whether or not to work outside of the home. He further explains that he believes that the best setup for happy marriages, if one of the wife's top emotional needs is financial support, that the husband's income should be enough for the family to survive off of. And if the wife chooses to work, her income should be invested or spent on things that are not survival needs, like vacations, material things, etc. Summary. All that vulnerability really means is to verbally share your goals, regrets, fears, and dreams with your partner. In other words, share your internal world with your partner. This is crucial to making your relationship last and to keep her desire flowing for you. There will always be a man with more money. There will always be a man willing to spend more money on her than you're willing to, but there is only one you. So, whether you're single, in a relationship, or married, grab a copy of this book. You can also find it on Audible, because the question is not if these issues will come up in your relationship, but the question is when will these issues show up in your relationship? And when they do show up, you'll be ready to tackle them. Our relationships are our mirrors. So if you think something is wrong with her, the question is, what might be wrong with you? Here are 4 things to work on if you truly want to have a happy and satisfying relationship. Number 1, heal. Heal childhood wounds and old emotional baggage. Number 2, learn. Learn relationship skills and emotional intelligence. Number 3, adopt an internal locus of control. Accept responsibility for your life and your results. And number 4, grow. Identify and change habits, patterns, attitudes, and beliefs that are not getting you the results you desire. This is what leading looks like. Saying things like, men will change when the women change, shows powerlessness and is the definition of letting the women lead. So take back your power, learn, grow, and lead. Thank you for watching. I am grateful for you. My name is Melissa Rochelle, and I'm a holistic wellness and relationship coach. Please remember to like, subscribe, and most importantly of all, share this information with everyone you know, so that we can do everything we can to break the generational cycles of broken homes, burnt out single moms, and fatherless children.